Hello everybody, welcome to another video. Subscribe to the channel if you have not already, and make sure to leave a like, comment, subscribe, and ring the bell to be notified about future uploads. Also share this video with a friend, your family, your aunt, your grandma, whatever. We're trying to get 1,000 subscribers before the end of the year, so every bit of your support helps. Today we will be talking about the Cup race at Kansas, and all things considered, I'll say that race went pretty well. Yeah, it wasn't a barn burner or anything. It didn't end with a last lap pass or an insane photo finish like the past two editions. But if you ask me, that race was far better than the past 5 Cup races put together. Dare I say, this was the first good Gen 7 race we've had since Homestead. Now at face value, you may be asking yourself, why am I thinking like this, or what the fuck am I saying? Kyle Larson just ran away with it. He grabbed the pole, swept the stages, set the fastest lap, and led over 200 laps on his way to yet another win. The first ever 61-point day in the Gen 7 era, now that the fastest lap bonus point is a thing. That's just a clear sign that you did not watch the race. Yeah, up front, Larson went pretty much unchallenged, but throughout the field, there was plenty of passing. A lot of green flag action. Yeah, there was a point in stage 3 where it seemed like they wouldn't stop crashing, but once they all got their act together, it was smooth sailing from there. Tire wear finally played a factor. It wasn't the biggest factor, of course, but it did play a role. We were seeing some guys struggling with their rear tires, not only in practice, but also all throughout the race, both in the short, but especially in the long run. Several drivers came down with tire failures this weekend. Ty Gibbs was one of those, SVG as well. Briscoe also got snake bit, Zane Smith. All these drivers had to start from the rear as a result. But the biggest and most heartbreaking of all was Brad Keselowski. He also had a tire issue in practice and had to start at the back, but he methodically worked his way up to the top 10 by the end of stage 2. And thanks to a great pit stop and an even better restart, Brad was running second at the beginning of stage 3 with a good shot at not just the top 5, but winning the whole thing. Mind you, he was one of only 2 guys who were able to pass Kyle Larson for position under green throughout the entire race, so that's saying a lot. Unfortunately, the racing gods decided Brad hadn't suffered enough and gave him yet another flat tire that blew up in turns 1 and 2 and knocked him out of the race. And a potential top 5 run spiraled into a 37th place, finishing what has been just another chapter in the book that is Brad Keselowski's miserable 2025 season. Another driver who was in serious contention for the win on Sunday was Chase Elliott. For the first time in what seemed like an eternity, Chase finally had actual race winning speed, and the Hendrick camp as a whole showed up with at least top 10 speed. Alex Bowman ran top 10 pretty much the entire day and finished 5th. William Byron was 2nd before he got a flat tire towards the end of stage 1, and he would never recover from that. But Chase Elliott, he was arguably the 2nd best car of the race and Larson's biggest challenge, especially in the long run where it seemed like he had the 5 beat. He finished 2nd on both stages and almost took stage 2 for himself. But when he won the race off pit road and cleared the way for the lead in stage 3, that's where it got real for the number 9. However, as it turns out, that Keselowski caution didn't just screw over Brad, but Chase as well, because in the ensuing round of pit stops, an issue with, you guessed it, the right rear tire caused Elliott to lose all of his track position, which he would never recover, and he would end up finishing in 15th. Also in that same sequence, Denny Hamlin's race came to an end. Another driver that had top 5 speed and had an outside shot at the win in my opinion. His race came to an end after battling a clutch issue ever since the end of stage 1, having to rally back from several slow pit stops just to stay in the top 10. The transmission had a hard time holding up because of this, and it eventually gave out, giving the 11 team their 2nd consecutive DNF caused by a mechanical failure. But hey, at least Hamlin was pretty chill about it, unlike AJ Allmendinger, who suffer a blown engine just 6 laps into the race, and he put the entire ECR engine program on blast on his radio, saying their engines, quote, fucking suck, among other things. His frustration is understandable, but I really question the wisdom of saying that stuff on live radio. That's about as close as you can get to biting the hand that feeds. I'm pretty sure this will get resolved behind closed doors. However, things are not looking good for AJ at the moment. There might be trouble in paradise over there, not gonna lie. But yeah, even if there was no action for the lead, there was plenty of shuffling throughout the field. You could also argue the main reason Larson ran away with the race in the final stage was because of all of his main competition coming down with issues, namely Elliott, Keselowski, and to one extent Hamlin. I'm pretty sure the race would have been decided between those 4 if it went green the rest of the way, but I guess we'll never know. What I do know is that this race was decent. A solid B, if I'm being honest. As for driver of the day, let's talk about someone we haven't mentioned yet. Corey Heim, making his first Cup start of the season now as 2311's development driver. He qualified deep in the field, but he worked his way up slowly, kept the car clean, stayed out of trouble for the most part. I know he got into it a little bit with Justin Haley on a restart and caused an accident that took out one of his teammates, but to be fair, that was a 4-wide situation, not ideal, especially on a restart, so I'll give Corey a pass this time. Especially since his 13th place finish on the day was not only the highest of the team for the weekend, but it also eclipsed Riley Herbst's season best finish of 14th the previous week at Texas. So yeah, in just one race, Corey Heim outperformed Riley Herbst for 1/3 of the season. Just on food for thought. Don't be surprised if he takes over that 35 car soon. But let's talk about Kyle Larson now, because now that we're in the month of May and he will be running it back at Indy and trying to attempt the double again, he's gonna be a really busy man this coming 2 weeks, juggling between his Indy 500 duties, his NASCAR commitments with the All-Star Race and Coca-Cola 600, and of course his midweek sprint car venture sprinkled in between. He's also coming off a dominant performance at Kansas, 3rd win of the year, took the points lead from his teammate Byron after the fact. Once again, giving us all NASCAR fans a reminder, Bell may be nice, Tyler Reddick, William Byron, you want to add Ryan Blaney onto that conversation you can, but still won't matter because Young Money, he's still #1 in the sport.